welcome to episode 2 of Coffee with Katharyne. My name's Katharyne Shelton. I present a weekly spreecast called Treasure Hunting with Katharyne, and I have a Facebook group by the same name that's about finding treasure and selling on Amazon, eBay, and anywhere else you can think of, and generally looking for treasure and becoming an entrepreneur with it. And that's what this series is about. This is for people who are working at home or creating their own businesses, and some of the issues that they face doing that and how to overcome them. So this episode is going to be called Saying Yes. I've got a quote. I'm going to start with a quote. There are people who prefer to say yes, and there are people who prefer to say no. Those who say yes are rewarded by the adventures they have, and those who say no are rewarded by the safety they attain. Okay, that's a quote from this guy, Keith Johnston. So, a little bit of background. I love improv. I haven't done it for a couple of years, and I super miss it. Super miss it. I would like to go back and do it again very, very soon. But a long time before I discovered how awesome improv was, I was living in England and I was taking a degree in theatre, and I thought, okay, I'm supposed to do this improv thing. There's a workshop going on, and I'll go to it. I'd better get learning what it is. And it was by this guy, Keith Johnston. I didn't really know who he was. I knew he was like the improv guy, but I didn't really know who he was. So I went to the class, and the main thing I remember is that we were partnered with people, and we had to work with another person, and one person would say, let's, and then it would be like, walk the dog, or jump up and down, or rub our noses. And so someone would say, let's rub our noses, and you had to go, yes, let's, and then you both rub your noses. Yeah, I was like, what? What am I doing? Why am I here? What is this about? And I didn't get it. I totally didn't get it. I was kind of embarrassed. I wasn't happy about working without a script, and I think part of it was I didn't have someone else to blame for stuff. Like, if I rubbed my nose wrong, there was no script that said rub your nose, so I couldn't be like, well, it said it in the play. I didn't get it. And a few years later, I found myself doing improv in San Diego and then in Los Angeles, and then I got it. And then I wanted to kick my 20-something-year-old too cool self. Be like, what were you doing? Why didn't you enjoy this class? And actually, if I'm honest, I left that class early. I didn't want to do it. I was so embarrassed and just freaked out by the whole thing that I left. I walked out. Well, I didn't walk out, but I just didn't go back to a Keith Johnston class. What? So that's not really what this is about. This isn't like my adventures in theatre. This is about saying yes, and why it's like super important. I think we all live in this kind of state of inertia, and it's not a bad thing. It's because we only have so much time, and we only have so much energy, and we want to be focused. We're told, set goals, make a plan. I mean, business is very much about, this is your objective, this is your goal. Make a plan, make smart objectives, make them specific, measurable, achievable. What's the other one? Relevant, timely. Set these smart objectives. Be very firm about what you're planning to do. Decide where the big picture is, what you're going to be, how you're going to get there. Which works. I mean, it works to an extent. Like, yeah, you want to know where you're going to get. You want to keep your eye on something. I mean, if we're going on a holiday to Florida and we just like figure out where we're going as it happens, we're not going to end up in Florida. But there's kind of a time for exploring. and just allowing other things to happen. If you're that dead set on Florida, you're like closing off the rest of the world. And you might not even know the rest of the world exists. And I think sometimes we've all like subconsciously set ourselves on a trip to Florida, but it might not be Florida. It might just be like some really boring, mundane destination that suited us like a year ago. It suited us when we were children. It suited us at some point when we got married or we got a job and we were like, okay, I'm on the ladder now. Great. I don't have to think about this. I'll just stay on the ladder. And that works for a time. That's like, okay, be on the ladder. Follow that path for a while. But the problem is you can get very blinded just because you feel like you have not enough time, not enough energy, and fear. Fear is such a big problem. There's, like most of us, even if we don't like admit it, there's like a little bit of social anxiety. There's a little bit of anxiety about all sorts of things. Just about what we don't know. There's always anxiety about what you don't know. And some of us handle it really well and just go, okay, cool. And some of us are like, but I think the secret is saying yes to a lot of it. Just go with it. Be afraid, but just go with it. I think, isn't that the book, Feel the Fear, Do It Anyway? I don't know, I haven't read it. But that I think that's like the key to getting through that anxiety. Danny Wallace wrote a book called Yes Man, and like the whole thing was he decided to say yes to everything. So I don't think that went well. I think he had like Nigerian scammers saying, please say yes to sending us large amounts of money. Obviously, you don't want to say yes to that. But we say no by default. Like, we all do it. We say no by default. When you get, and you get overwhelmed with stuff. If you look in your Facebook, you've probably got a million invitations. Oh, please come to my, like, I don't know, Tibetan nose flute and cheese evening. No, ignore. Please say happy birthday to Bob that you went to school with in high school. No, ignore. I don't want to talk to Bob. Oh, it goes on and on. We're kind of inundated with requests, with invitations, with like, please do this, please do that. Hey, have you thought about this? Yeah, I mean, there's a reason we default to no. There's always a reason we default to no. Just because we're trying to stay focused, and we have this sense of like, I don't have time for that. That's not of interest to me. That's not part of my plan. But you know what? Everything I have done in life that has been awesome, like a lot of my best memories and things that I'm super happy about, have come because I said yes to something. And I went, okay, I don't know where this is going, but let's do it. Let's see where it goes. Yeah, let's make this happen. Let's make it work. And if something sounds exciting or interesting, or you can see any positivity in it, then give it a try. So today's thing, I'm asking you, say yes to just one thing today. Anything that just, you have an instinct, you have some feeling that it might be great or interesting, or you might learn one thing. Try saying yes to it. I'll go back a little bit to Keith Johnston. So, one of the key things in improv, I'm waiting, there's a plane going by. Coffee time. Okay, one of the key building blocks when you go and you start doing improv classes is you learn this thing called yes and. So the first step is, let's do this. Yes, let's do it. And you kind of need this because improv is like telling a story. You've got two people on stage and you want to tell a story. In fact, even if you just got one person telling a story, you need to keep that moving. You need to keep it going. And if it goes something like this, hey, Bob, let me help you put your pants on. And he goes, ew, no. You can't go anywhere. Okay, sorry, derp. You go, yes, okay. Then you have a big funny scene and someone falls over and things happen. And I think that's kind of where the fear is. I don't want things to happen. But why? Why don't you want things to happen? What's the worst thing that can happen here? And that's a good, question. What's the worst thing that can happen? And what do you not even know is going to happen if you say yes? All sorts of things can happen. That's when you go on adventures. So saying no is a place of safety, okay? If you say no, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. You can sit at home. You can play World of Warcraft. You can play Minecraft. That's one of my vices. You can be safe at home. Or just for once, say yes and see where it goes. And saying yes, especially if it's to other people, saying yes is like it's a kindness. It's like a place of love. When you say no, so in the improv world, that's called blocking. And that's kind of like an aggressive, kind of mean thing to do to someone. If someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, let's go to the fair." No, I don't feel like it. That's like kind of aggressive. Whereas if you say, "Yeah, let's," whoa, there's like a world of opportunity at the fair. Who knows who you'll see? Who knows what Jack Daniel's fried hot dog sandwich butter donut you won't eat if you don't go to the fair. And everyone wants to eat that. Yeah, you might die of a coronary, but you experienced the Jack Daniel's butter rat donut sandwich. Yes! That was something you've never done before, and it's new. Another aeroplane. More coffee. So, I think that's what I've got to say today. Do yourself a kindness, do the people around you a kindness, and look for opportunities to say yes, yes, because who knows where it will go. All right, lots of love to all of you. Have a great day. Bye.